Hey guys, Jake here, and today I had a plan to kind of make a video about Horizon 4 and why I felt disappointed with the game, but I kind of thought that instead of making a 30 to 40 minute plus video of everything that I didn't like about the game, how about I instead kind of put that into separate parts, into separate videos, and actually make things more detailed so each kind of part can have, more time to it, where I can explain where I think things could be better. And that way, instead of every topic getting crammed into the same video that, people may not want to watch because it's so long, I could just focus on one specific point for each video and actually go into detail with it. And that's what I'm going to do today with Forza Horizon 4's blueprint system. Pretty sure most of you guys know what the blueprint system is. Basically, it's just where you can make custom races at any route start in the game. Honestly, I think most of my time in Forza Horizon 4 has been spent making custom routes and blueprints. I've always been someone who's big into any kind of free play or quick race mode, and in fact, I think that's what I've spent most of my time on in racing games over, career modes and story modes and stuff like that, because I just like screwing around and creating my own stuff. And Forza Horizon 4, while I've enjoyed making custom routes and events and stuff like that, I feel like there's a lot of things that its blueprint system is missing, and some of those things I think are pretty basic features. Starting with the AI. This is the most glaring issue of the entire blueprint system. Every single race has 12 AI forced on it. Some events are designed to be kind of solo, so what people will do is actually try to get the AI to go away, like in some of Don Joan Song stuff. And some routes just don't work well with 12 cars jammed onto a tiny road. And, well, what's the solution to this? Well, just let us be able to change the amount of AI. Almost every racing game before has done this. Even your sister series, Forza Motorsport, in its free play mode, lets us change the amount of AI in quick races. And for me, this would add a lot of replayability to the blueprint mode because there would be more kinds of events you could make, and there would be a lot more creative freedom. You could even go kind of off the wall with like a specific car selection. So say if you want to do like a Fast and Furious themed event, you could have one AI against you and say you were forced to only pick the Supra, so you could do like a Supra versus Charger kind of event and almost kind of imagine and create your own like story and race events, This is the kind of stuff that I used to do all the time on Need for Speed Carbon as a kid, and games have so much potential to really be such a great creative platform. Dirt 5 is doing that with its Playgrounds mode. And I think Forza Horizon 4 has an incredible foundation for creatives, and I think it could definitely go a lot further with stuff like this. Next up, in relation to AI, let us change and customize the AI cars. Now, you can pick specific cars that you want to lock the event to, but you can't pick specifically what you want the AI to drive. Not many games let you do this, actually, and so I wouldn't call this a basic feature, but this is something that would add so much replayability for me. Two games that do this already are actually Assetto Corsa and Forza Motorsport 4, actually. However, Forza Motorsport 4's custom AI support was only online. And there's one thing that it's still missing, and that's the ability to create a car and then let an AI use it in an event. This adds to kind of my create your own story race kind of thing. So if you want to do that Fast and Furious type event, you can make, say, Dom's Charger as the only AI car available, and you would have your own Supra and use that, say. But there's so many kinds of things that you could do with this, especially with the kind of like recreations and stuff like that. And you could recreate Need for Speed and racing games of back then with all kinds of like boss cars and your own thing. There's so many things that you could do if you could customize the AI cars for yourself and also change the amount of AI. And for me, it's just something I've wanted in the game ever since I was a kid. And I think Forza Horizon 4, again, has a great platform to do it on. The only problem I could really see with this is like the drivatars, again, Playground and Turn 10, like put the drivatars in their games, and would having your own garage car override the drivatar? What would it do with their wrap? I don't know what it would do. But again, this is just my suggestion, and if there's a problem with it, maybe you could let me know what it is. Next up is time of day, and while there are time of day options in the game, it's a little bit flawed in how it's presented, I think. I think for a specific time of day set, there should be previews. So what the sunset preset looks like, what the daytime preset looks like, because there was this one event that I was making in the game, and I was trying to recreate the race from the game's intro, and I nearly got it perfect, and I loaded in, and I realized that I messed up on the car selection. You couldn't even pick the McLaren Senna. However, the lighting was perfect, and it looked exactly like the intro did. I recreated the blueprint again with the right cars in the same exact time of day, but the lighting doesn't look like the original intro at all anymore. So it turns out there are actually a few presets for each time of day, so like Sunset 1, Sunset 2, and Sunset 3. It would be nice to be able to pick between these presets and be able to see what they look like before we actually finish the blueprint. One time of day setting that would also be awesome is time acceleration. And I've had ideas for races that start at dusk and end in morning, for example, and you can't accelerate the time to go any faster, but you can do this in plenty of other games like Assetto Corsa and Project Cars 2. And again, I think that just opens up more potential for creative opportunities in trying to create your own atmosphere in the race. Speaking of creating your own atmosphere in the race, custom music. Forza Horizon 3 actually had a feature that I really miss in Forza Horizon 4, which is custom bucket lists, and I actually used those to make challenges on my Discord server. But one thing I really liked about it in Horizon 3 is that you could pick your own music to go with your challenge. I think this feature would fit perfectly with the blueprint system, because then you could pick your own time of day, cars, and stuff like that, and try to create an atmosphere you want. The music option would fit right perfectly in there, I think. I don't know if there would be any licensing issues with this. I hope not, but it would add some nice and fun little creativity to the blueprints. And now, here is my biggest one, and something I think Horizon 4 is missing from the general game entirely, is being able to do different types of events from the blueprint system. Currently, we can do standard races in circuit, so multiple laps, or sprint, which is just point A to point B, but we can't do any kind of drift event where we're supposed to aim for a high score, and we can't do any drag races where we're supposed to just, aim for the best time. I mean, you technically could do a drag race, but it wouldn't necessarily be listed as one. You also can't do time trials or rivals events, again, because of the AI. My idea for this in the blueprint system would be kind of by division. So if we already have road racing, cross country, dirt, and drag already as options in the blueprint, then drift could be added, rivals could be added, and rivals, for example, could be the time trial mode, and it instantly just takes out all the AI and it makes the lap loop so the race doesn't stop until you manually quit the race. And adding more different types of modes and events to be done in the blueprint system would also mean, obviously, drift would be put in there. That would make so many people happy. It would open up so many more types of events and creative stuff to do, and I feel like some of the mountain roads in the game could be utilized a lot more if people could create their own drift routes, and then people just go point A to point B trying to get the highest score possible. The main game already lacks a drift mode in single player. The only thing we have is Drift Club, but we also have Drift Adventure Online, which Drift Adventure, in terms of its actual drift races, is pretty much essentially what I'm asking for, but just let us make custom routes and blueprints for it. With Drift Adventure existing and working as well as it does, I can't understand why it isn't in, just the offline single player mode. And letting us try to aim for scores in blueprint with drifting would give so many people hours and hours and hours of fun. The drifting community and the hooning and Gymkhana people would be all over this. And next up is just a little small issue. From what I know, you actually cannot delete blueprints in the game. You can replace and override them, but you can't delete them. My first understanding is that you couldn't delete them because Playground might pick it for their showcase or something like that. But if you can override the blueprint, then why can't we delete them? Because that means you could probably just get rid of it in the first place. A lot of times I'll mess up like one setting, and then I have to create duplicates of the same event, and it just looks bad. And if you don't want us to delete it, just let us update it so we could fix a certain issue with it. Because I don't like having to make 3 extra blueprints just to override one specific one. And last but not least, I never expect this to come into the game, and it's not exactly to do with the blueprint system, but with the route creator, and plenty of others have talked about this already, but letting us place props in the route creator. Props actually exist in Forza Horizon already. That being in the Horizon stories, they have several different kinds of ramps and cool stuff like that, and then in the regular races, they just have all kinds of barriers and festival stuff that you can put by the sides of the race. Letting us put this stuff in our own tracks would open up so much possibility, especially if you add, different kinds of events and high scores and stuff like that. And I've had so many ideas of different tracks and stuff to do in this game that I just can't do because the route creator is so limited. I feel like Playground Games kind of comes up with these new features. They have the route creator and they have the eliminator, but they never really add on to them, and to me that's quite disappointing. And I know letting us add props and having a whole big track creator is no really easy fix, but it's something I've wanted ever since the game's release, and Dirt 5 is doing it now with Playgrounds. I think Forza is going to have to step up their game. I do want to quickly suggest how I think the props could be handled in the route creator, possibly when you just pause the game, usually when you can view the map and stuff like that. There should be an edit props button or add props button to where you go in kind of a free camera mode and just be able to place whatever you want. And then you can just press the pause menu again to return to driving. And once you've created your route, like you can edit the checkpoints again, let us edit the props and where they are too, before letting us save it to a blueprint, of course. And my last request for this video, the last thing that I want to be improved on, is the fact that you can't actually start the race where you want. It has to be at any specific route start in the game, which on the surface to me makes sense, because if you could place it anywhere, how would you get to people's routes? But this creates a few problems. My main problem is that I have so many race routes and ideas. I remember I was thinking of all kinds of stuff I could do, but then I feel like half or even more than half of my ideas were kind of ruined because I actually couldn't start the race in a specific spot. And there's so many tracks that I could make, that I want to make, that I'm pretty sure plenty of other people will want to make as well, but they can't because they can't start the race at a specific place. Actually, I recorded this segment in the video far after any of the other voiceovers because while I was recording gameplay for this video, I wanted to get a quick shot of a Mustang drifting to kind of just visualize what a custom drift event could look like. And while I was doing that, just because I wanted to have the event percentage counter in the corner to make it look like an event, and I wanted to be at nighttime, I had to create a custom route all the way from Edinburgh all the way to the mountain I wanted to get to, because the mountain race start was in the direction that I didn't want to go in. See, and this took me so much longer than it ever needed to. And this could be solved by letting us put the race starts where we want to. Now, of course, if you have a problem, you gotta have a solution. So how could you actually get around this? How would people figure out other people's routes? Well, actually, so how about when you are in the route creator, just like if you were able to move props and add props, just let us move the race start. And if you want to, make it like 50 or 100 meters within the original race start where it is on the map, but just let us adjust where it is just a little bit. And I think that would be okay for 99% of creative projects for race routes and stuff like that. So that way you can't really make a race start that starts on the other side of the map. Say if it starts at like the top of a mountain, but yet you started the race and you entered the race event at like the beach or something so people wouldn't get caught off guard. So that's how I think Forza Horizon 4's blueprint system could be improved a lot. And I feel like some of these could be a bit easier fixes, like just letting us change the amount of AI. I don't necessarily know what technical problems that could cause. But as someone who already has spent so much time in Forza Horizon 4's blueprint and route creator, I feel like adding in some of these things would just give me so much playtime and give the community so much playtime too, even just from small fixes. And so that's pretty much it for my blueprint suggestions today. I want to do more of these Forza Horizon 4 fix-it videos where I want to talk about a certain topic that I think is something that's disappointed me with Forza Horizon 4 and go into detail with it and maybe how Playground Games can fix it. Let me know what you guys think of the blueprint system in Forza Horizon 4. Do you ever use it? Do you want it to be built on? I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys later.
We'll be right back.